So, without further ado, welcome to the first Fear of Falling program, sponsored again by Wake Forest and our sponsors that have paid for all these wonderful refreshments. Brookdale back there, give them a big hand. They're always here with us. Okay, the fear of falling. All right, confession. How many of you are afraid to fall? Oh, all right. I saw your hand go up first. Thank you very much. Question. How many of you have fallen? Let's see. I have. And guess what? I didn't want to tell anybody. How many of you have gone to the doctors and you see that little medical checkup and they say, have you fallen lately? How many of you responded untruthfully? The person that runs a senior center, I think I should get this prize, is not supposed to tell anybody that she's fallen, but she did. I have a dog, a big dog, and I walked my dog. And that's the reason I'm so very passionate about this, and I thought, I'm out, dolly. Well, it's a lab. It's a bird dog. It's all bird. By dog, by Jen, by phone. I was talking on my phone, not paying attention, and down I go. So everybody can fall, and it's not anything to be embarrassed about. I still am afraid. But guess what? The reality is that even as children, we can develop a fear of falling and not realize it as we age. How many of you are afraid of bridges? How many of you dreamed as you were a child of flying in the air or falling? How many of you had those dreams? Chances are that that might encourage some of the fear of falling you have. I never realized that till I did some research. The reality is 40% of the population could potentially fall, no matter what age you are. But there are all kinds of reasons, right? What are some reasons? Give me a reason you fell. Obviously, you know, mine was my pet. Who else has a reason? What'd you fall? How'd you fall? Roomba vacuum cleaner. Ooh, that's the robotic vacuum cleaner. Well, guess what? Women fall more often than men. Do you know why? That's a point. Men do pay better attention. Women, you know, several reasons why. Women, shoes. How many of you are still hard-headed and wear high heels all the time? Most of us not in this room, but shoes. Also, we're always trying to multitask, which is a huge thing that we need to try to stop. Do you know that one of the biggest reasons for falling now, what it is? Cell phone and walking with your cell phone. And that's among all ages and all stages. So with that said, now Christina is ready for me to get on with it. Oh, you've read about me. I'm going to let her introduce the rest of the speakers, and then we'll move forward.
Hi, I'm Christina Wolf, and I'm a physical therapist. I'm happy to be here with you all. Thank you for coming and joining us online as well. You've met Jenny. She is one of our speakers. She's going to continue to talk to you today. I will speak with you. We also have Sharon Jackman, and we have Patricia and Sarah from the North Carolina Assistive Technology Program. So I hope you will enjoy all that we have to offer you today.
Thank you, Christina. Okay, we can read the slides. Over 1 in 4 Americans age 65 plus will fall each year. That's pretty significant. Actually, 1 in 2 of us that are 80 or above will fall each year. Okay. We've already talked about the phobias that we get, right? The fear of falling. And we've already asked you how many of you are afraid to fall again. So one of the things we need to overcome is that fear. How do you gain enough confidence in yourself again not to fall? How do you prepare for it? Those are some of the things that Christina and Tim are going to talk about today. I'm supposed to be getting on an airplane to go see my granddaughter after I have my knee replaced next week. I don't think I'm going to do that. I'm afraid. And it's natural to be afraid. Among older people, those that are among older persons, I've been so excited to see y'all all day, I can't stand it. Among older people, 20 to 39% fall, and those from 40 to 73%, would you say this for me? You got it? She's got it.
So this slide, can you hear me? This slide is just to show you that among older persons that have a fear of falling, it's just an overall fear of falling, the 20 to 39%. But once you have fallen, you see how much more of an increase of fear that you end up with from falling. Let's just go back to this one too. There is a cycle that happens. So when you have a fear of falling, a lot of times what happens is you start to reduce your activity level. You decide, oh, well, I'm just not going to go and do that anymore because I'm afraid I'm going to fall if I go do that. And that turns into, changing in your movement patterns as well. Like you might say, well, I fell because I was walking too fast, and so now I'm going to walk really, really slowly. And that's a change in your movement pattern. It's going to affect you more than just mentally. It'll affect you physically. So it'll lead to deconditioning, reduced socialization, so you're not going to be feeling like you're going to get out as much. That reduces your quality of life. And then it also can lead to loss of independence. So that fear of falling can turn you into this cycle that then also increases your risk for falls. So it's a fear of falling is no good, whether you've fallen or not. So that's the point that I wanted to just drive home. So as I said, I'm Christina Wolf. I just want to introduce myself a little bit further. I'm a physical therapist. I've been a PT for 26 years. And I own my own business called Prosper PT and Wellness, and you feel free to ask me more questions about that later. But I also am the lead for the Triangle Fall Prevention Coalition, and I'm also on the steering committee for the North Carolina Fall Prevention Coalition. Falls are very, very important to me. So I'm happy to be here to share some of my knowledge, and hopefully you'll get some good insight from this presentation. All right, so I'm going to talk to you about how we can reduce our risk, our fear of falling through obtaining risk assessments. Who here likes doing tests? No? Nobody likes tests. That's so shocking. I'm just kidding. Well, I mean, even if we don't like taking tests, we can possibly agree that we do benefit from tests. We find out where we're really excelling. And then we also find areas that we need to focus more from tests. So there's a lot of ways that tests can give us valuable information. Let's see, I'm going to go off here and go online so I can show you some other tests. Escape. Okay, so there are online assessments. These are self-assessments that you can do on the computer. There's this one on the National Council of Aging's website. It's called the Falls Free Checkup. I actually gave you a paper form of that. So you have the 12 questions. They're right there in your lap. But here online, you can do this in English. You can also do it in Spanish. And you can take it multiple times a year. If you have an event or you just start thinking, oh, I wonder if I'm at an increased risk for falls because I'm just not feeling right, or there's this new medication my doctor gave me. So I highly recommend you go on here and just fill it out. It'll give you some nice insight as to when you answer yes to certain questions, where your areas of focus might need to be. Okay, so that's one website that you can go to. And these are all on your handout as well. The websites are written on the handout that has a resource list on it, okay? So the CDC has a program called the STEADY. It's Stopping Elderly Accidents, Deaths, and Injuries. And this is their website for the STEADY. It gives you a lot of facts. It gives you some interventions, resources. There's a home safety checklist that you can find on this website, and I gave you a paper form of that as well in your packet. So I would highly recommend that you just take that and start looking around your house in a different lens so that you can hopefully reduce your risk of falls and take away some of that fear of falling there. And then one more website I want to show you. This is Standing Strong North Carolina. This is a website that the North Carolina Falls Prevention Coalition has been working really hard on. And it has a lot of resources for you, for your family, for your providers. There's so many different things on here. If you scroll through, you can see public service announcements that have been made. These little buttons here can get you to resources for talking to your healthcare providers. They'll have information on how to have a conversation with your pharmacist. There's medication lists in here that you can go on and fill out your medicines ahead of time so that you can get to the doctor with that information nice and handy. So lots and lots of good resources on there. And you have a little rack card that has that website on it too. So hopefully that will be beneficial. Here we go. Slideshow from current slide. Did I do it? Did it. Okay. All right, here we are. So went through all of those things. There's other self-assessments too. So the form that's online that I just showed you is a self-assessment. And what that does is it gives you an opportunity to say honestly how you're doing, what's the areas of focus that you need to look at, right? So there's a form in your packet. It's called the FESI. It's a Functional Efficacy Scale International. That's what the I stands for. So if you all filled it out, or if you haven't, please take a second to look at that. We're just going to go over that form just a little bit and give you some insight on that. But let me just talk about a couple of other self-efficacy or self-assessments. There's one that often your providers will use. It's called the GDS. It's the Geriatric Depression Scale. And, you know, a lot of people don't see the link, but when you're depressed, it's kind of the similar thing to the fear of falling. We get into this cycle where we're not moving about and we're not socializing as much, and it just changes your mobility and increases your risk for falls. So if somebody says they want to check you for depression, it's also checking you to see if you're at an increased risk for falls. Let's go to the form. So this is the form in your packet that I had everybody fill out. And what we find in this is a lot of ways that we go about our day. Some of us might do these things every day, some of them maybe not every day, but your interpretation of your level of concern when you're doing these is going to give us a little bit of an indication as to where you stand as far as a fall risk. And this is all based on your input. This isn't anything a professional decides for you. It's what you're giving us. You're giving us this information. So if you were to total up all of the numbers that you have on your page, you could find the score. And if you have a score of 16 to 19, that puts you in a low risk or a low concern for falls. That's kind of where you want to be. You want to get to a point where you're not as concerned about falling. And there are many reasons why we are concerned about falling. I'm not saying that there aren't valid reasons. It's totally fine to have concerns, but we want to get to a point where we can reduce that level of concern. So the score between 20 to 27 just puts you in that moderate risk or moderate concern category. And then 28 to 64 is high risk, high level of concern for falls. So I would encourage you to, keep that form. I'm hoping that we can get a second form available, but you can take that multiple times throughout the year. Use a different colored pen or whatever you want to do just to try to see where you feel you're at after you leave here, and we give you some strategies to improve your fear of falling. All right, I think we're good. So We have online assessments, we have self-assessments, but then there are so many ways that we fall. We have so many reasons for falls that it takes a team of professionals to really determine what are all the areas of focus that you need to be aware of. So let me go through some of these little icons that I have up here. We see the pills. So pharmacists. Pharmacists are really important for predicting whether or not you're at an increased risk of falls. There are certain medications, just if you were prescribed that medicine, that it's going to put you at an increased risk for falls. Or a number of medicines, depending on how many you have in your pill box. That could also be an indicator as why you might be at an increased risk for falls. But the good news is that they can also advocate for you. They can say, hey, this medicine, when combined with this medicine, really has adverse effects. And I think it would be great for you to talk to your doctor and see if there's some other way that they can treat this condition, if there's something else they can do. So they're really helpful. I would highly recommend you talk to your pharmacist or come here at the center. There's a pharmacist that comes here monthly to go over meds with people. So then we have glasses and this otoscope, right? So hearing and vision. We're supposed to get our hearing and vision checked how often? Yearly. Yes, very good. I'm so pleased that you guys know that. So yearly for sure, but then also anytime that we notice a change in condition. Okay, so your eye appointment might not be for a couple more months, but all of a sudden you're not seeing one of things, you're seeing double of things, or you just notice that you just can't tell where that step is anymore. Your depth perception is off. Don't wait for that yearly appointment. Go get some help ahead of time, okay? Prevent falls by getting your vision and hearing checked. You know, we think about hearing as just sound, but it's brain work, right? So when the sound comes into our ear, it has to be digested by our brains. So we're finding more and more that if we have a hearing loss and our brain is concentrating on what is that I'm listening to, or what is that person saying, and we're walking and we're trying to figure out what are they talking about, and then all of a sudden you misstep or you stumble. It's because your brain is taking so much energy to try to understand what's coming into your ear that it's reducing the amount of energy that is being given to your legs to make you mobilize properly, okay? So ears are very important for reducing your risk of falls. Then we have the little stethoscope here. So that's nurses, that's nurse practitioners, physicians, PAs, therapists. I mean, that's anybody. We can all take a look at why you might be at an increased risk for falls. It's a lot of different things. It can be blood pressure related. It can be mobility related, weakness, all kinds of things. So please see your physicians regularly and be honest with them when you go in. So the only icon left here is the little workout person, right? And that's my wheelhouse. So I'm going to just go in a little deeper with that because we can do a lot of physical performance tests. I know it's tests again, but it's really interesting. If you get yourself in a situation and you look at where you stand amongst your peers, and then also with the data that is documented, it's been researched, studied. We know different things. If you cannot stand on one foot for more than 6.5 seconds, then you're at an increased risk for fall. So there's a lot of data out there, and physical therapists are movement experts. So we're really very qualified to take a look at these things and determine where are those areas of focus again that we need to spend our time on. So I mentioned I've been a PT for 26 years. I love it. I love being a PT. I haven't wanted to do anything else since I was 15. So I also went and got some additional education. I'm a credentialed balance and falls professional through the American Physical Therapy Association in their geriatrics section. And with that training, I was able to look at physical therapy in a different lens. I've always been a reactive or a rehabilitation physical therapist. I work with people after the fact, after they've had a knee replacement or after they've fallen. And I decided that since I've had that training, that I really want to take a more proactive approach and really help people to do the right thing before they have that fall or before they have that pain. So that's why I decided to open my business, Prosper PT and Wellness. And hopefully I can make an effect on some of this community through that work. But let me just see what's going on here. So we know that falls are more likely to happen as we age. So why not do something to find out why? Why are you possibly more likely to fall than your neighbor or spouse? Have you ever thought of that? Like, is it a muscle weakness that you have, low endurance? Could it be that you just don't have good reactive balance responses? Or is it your posture, your footwear, like Jenny was saying, tightness in your lower legs so that your ankles just don't move the way they're supposed to? It could be things like you have peripheral neuropathy from diabetes or a chemotherapy treatment, or maybe spinal stenosis that's pressed on those nerves. There's so many reasons why you could be at a risk for falls, whereas your neighbor or your spouse might not be. So it's good to find out and get that information so you can be empowered to make a difference. All right. So Jenny, you said you were going to come up here and help me do a little demo. I referenced comparing yourself to your peers. So this little chart here is one of the things that I use. It has data from different studies. And what we do is we do these physical performance measures, and then we take that data to compare you to your peers and to compare you to the cut point or cut score is what we call it, where we know if you reach this or you don't reach this, you're at an increased risk for falls. So how do you feel about standing on one leg, Jenny?
You don't want to.
Well,
She knows I can't. That's too.
all right. So are you right-handed or left-handed?
I'm right.
Okay, so what we know is that when you're right-handed, you are more likely to stand on your left foot in order to kick a ball, right? So your left is going to be more stable. So let's check the right one because it's less likely to be stable. Okay, what you're going to do is you're going to put your arms across your chest. Okay, find something to stare at. We want to get your gaze to stabilize. Okay, so preferably something right in front of you. So turn your body if you need to find something to stabilize your gaze. All right, and the test begins when I see you pick up your left foot. Okay, I will start my stopwatch, but you cannot flail your leg all around. You cannot touch your right leg with that left foot, okay? And you cannot let your arms come off of your chest, okay?
Okay, I just want to tell you guys, I can't tell anybody what's about to happen.
It's on video.
Oh.
All right, here we go, Jenny. When your left foot comes up, I will start my stopwatch. All right, so let's try one more time. Give you a trial. Okay, so I got you. That's good. So your score is less than 6.5 seconds. So that means you're at an increased risk for falls. And then for your age group,
71.
your age group is 16.7 seconds on average.
Can I tell you a bomb fail? It's not trying to all right. So I'm very fortunate to be in basketball. So
Yes.
but that affects everybody. That's
Willingly, you said you would like to do that.
Don't be embarrassed if it happens to all.
Yes. But the good news is that you can train yourself. You can train to improve those things. Okay. So let's look at some strategies to help reduce your fear of falling. These are things that you can implement into your day-to-day life, okay? Let's start here. So the National Council on Aging put out this 6 steps to prevent a fall. This was part of the Fall Prevention Awareness Month last year. Number 1 is find a good balance and exercise program. Okay, so you're in the perfect place for that. There's so many programs right here in this center that you could get involved in. Even evidence-based programs like Tai Chi for arthritis and fall prevention. And then we also are going to offer the Otago exercise program for those that are a higher risk for falls eventually. But these exercise programs are perfect to fulfill that physical activity requirement. And I did give you a paper that has some guidelines on how to find out what's your physical activity level currently, right? So let's see. The other thing to know is that, you know, good balance and exercise programs don't just have to happen indoors here in a center. It can happen outside in parks. You can find good exercise programs through a walking club, or going to play pickleball, or, you know, whatever it is that you enjoy. So if you like the gym, go to the gym. If you don't like the gym, don't feel like you have to exercise indoors in order to get this physical activity requirement. So as your paper says, physical activity guidelines state that we need 150 minutes per week of moderate physical activity. And moderate physical activity is something that when you're doing the exercise or the activity, that could be gardening, if you're lifting a wheelbarrow and you start to notice that your heart is elevated, you're breathing a little bit heavier, but you can still speak to one another, that's a moderate level usually. Okay, so some other exercises are brisk walking, biking, swimming. Those are all considered moderate for the most part. The other thing is if you don't feel like you have 150 minutes a week to be physically active, you could do vigorous activity for 75, at least 75 minutes, okay? So that is running, climbing stairs, hiking, things that really get your heart rate elevated to the point where when you're breathing heavy, it's harder for you to talk. That's more of a vigorous indicator, okay? It's hard to talk to that person that you're with. But like I said, it doesn't have to be in a gym. You can find other things that will bring your heart rate up. The other thing besides the time is that they will ask you to try to do some strength training at least 2 days a week if you can get that in. It's very good for your bones, not just your physique, but it's very good for your bones and other things like posture, energy level, metabolism, all kinds of things come from being able to be stronger. And then the other thing is balance training. So balance training comes in a lot of forms too. You know, if you want to learn how to play tennis, so you're going to go to the basketball court and shoot hoops? No. Now that doesn't make any sense, right? So if you want to improve your balance, you need to do things that are going to improve your balance. It's the same idea. So, but balance is dancing. Balance is, you know, just doing things like pickleball, tennis, those sorts of things really require a lot of balance. Even hiking requires balance, right? If you get on a trail and it's on a slope and you have to really anticipate where your posture is going to be, there's a lot of ways to improve your balance. But the point is in order to improve your balance, you have to work on it. You can't shoot hoops to learn how to play tennis. So you have to work on balance in order to improve it. All right, so I wanted to try something with you all because one of the exercise forms for balance is Tai Chi. Has anybody ever done Tai Chi? Yeah, a few of us. Yeah, good. Okay, so what I'd like to do is I'm gonna just run you through a little body awareness exercise, okay? So you can stay seated. If you feel safe to stand, feel free to stand. But what I want you to do is just consider where your weight is on your feet. Do you have your feet in a position where the weight is on your heels? Or is it on your toes? Or is it kind of in the center? Just really think about your feet for right now. Just consider where the weight is on your feet. Okay? And then from there, and if you're standing, let's do this. Let's make sure that we're in a safe position. I want your feet shoulder width apart, okay? Otherwise, if you're seated, just stay seated and we'll go through everything that way too. So we've got our weights right behind the ball of our foot if we're in the best possible posture. Okay, so get that weight right behind the ball of your foot. Then your knees need to be soft. We never want to stand with our knees locked. Okay, that's just bad form. Okay, we don't want our knees to be locked. It's not good for us. So soft knees, and then the next thing up is hips, right? So anybody ever sat on a tall stool, like a kitchen stool, a bar stool? You know how that feels when you sit on the tall stool? That's what I want you to do with your hips, is just position yourself as if there's an imaginary tall stool behind you. So we've got weight on the balls of our feet, our knees are soft, and our hips are on the tall stool. Now, the next thing is our spine. So we need to really think about, okay, how tall do I have it right now? Pull yourself from the top of your head to your tailbone as if you were being pulled by a string. Okay, once you have that nice tall posture, think about where your shoulders are. Are they rolled forward or do you have them way back? Get them right there above those hips. Okay, just let them be in that neutral posture. And then we have our head. A lot of us have a forward head these days from looking at our phones and computers and tablets. So it's really important to try to get your ear over your shoulder. And that's not looking up, okay? A lot of people think, oh, well, let me get my head back and it's this. But no, we still need to keep our gaze forward. So how does that feel? This is good body posture. And this is what Tai Chi teaches us, okay? So already you've learned how to be more aware of your body position, and that's going to help you with your balance, okay? And then the rest of Tai Chi, it incorporates your mind and body. It has you thinking about all kinds of things. We do meditative types of breathing, and we do dual task things where we're moving our feet and our arms at the same time, and we're shifting our weight. And one of the things that I love best about Tai Chi is the way we pick up our feet. So when we shift our weight over onto one limb and we pick the foot up with the heel first and put the heel down first, so that when we put our foot down and shift our weight onto it, we know exactly what our foot is already on. There's no guessing. It's either even or not before we've even put our weight on it. So there's a lot of good that can come from learning new things. And Tai Chi, if you've never tried it, is going to teach you a lot of new things. Let me tell you, it is not easy, but it's very rewarding. So feel free to have a seat. Thank you for participating. So the other great things that come from Tai Chi is that it reduces your fear of falling, reduces your blood pressure. It also can reduce your arthritis pain. It's been proven to do that as well. It improves your balance, it improves your posture, and it improves your body awareness. All right, so the rest of these 6 steps we've kind of already gone over, so I'm just going to touch on them real quick. Talking to your healthcare provider is going to help you to reduce your risk of falls and your fear of falling, right? You got to talk to your healthcare provider, but you got to be honest, because he can't help you or she can't help you if she doesn't know that you're having a problem. Regularly review your medication. Make sure you see that pharmacist and get those meds checked. Get your vision and hearing checked annually or whenever you have a problem. And then keep your home safe. So there are home safety checklists, like I said, on the internet. I gave you a form to try out. But OTs and PTs are also very well trained to come out and look at your home with that mobility perspective, right? Like, we're trying to keep you aging well, and aging in place as much as we possibly can, right? We want you to be able to stay at home and do what you want to do. So looking at your home in a way that can help you to maintain that level of independence and reduce your risks for falls is one of the things that PTs and OTs are really good at. And then the last thing is talking to your family. That looks like, you know, hey, can you come over and change this light bulb for me? Because I know I can do it, but I just don't feel safe to do it. You know, that's what it is. It's coming up with this new mindset of, I'm not going to avoid activities, but I'm going to know where I'm safe to do things and where I'm not safe to do things. And let your family help, because it feels really good to be able to help people. And you don't want to take that away from your kids and your family. Okay, they want to help you. All right. So last thing is, all of these resources are like, in September, you're going to see them everywhere. September is Fall Prevention Awareness Month. So social media, the senior center, like all of these places are going to have lots and lots of information for you about preventing falls and reducing your risk of falls. You'll have free screenings out there in the community. Vendors are going to come out and like talk to you about different things that they have. It's just a really great time of the year, and falls happen all year long, but in September you can get a lot of information. In fact, last year we had a Fall Prevention Awareness Day at Northern Wake Senior Center and virtually to Eastern Wake Senior Center. And these are some of the things that we had available. We had the fire department and police department here to talk. We had Resources for Seniors. We had the pharmacists from Resources for Seniors here. There was just a lot of great resources that were shared that day. And now I'm going to turn this over to Sharon.
All right, is that better? Can you hear me? All right, terrific. So first, raise your hand if you ever remember watching Ed Sullivan on a little black and white TV with rabbit ears, yeah? Anyone here actually see the Beatles on Ed Sullivan? Yeah, I'm impressed. Raise your hand if you ever watched Perry Mason get his man. Inevitably, at the end, he'd get the guy, right? Exactly, the Ed Sullivan Show. Raise your hand if you ever saw Lucy and Ethel cramming their mouthful of chocolates, right? Right? Or Flip Wilson saying, "Here come the judge," right? What does this have to do with fear of falling? I'm glad you asked. There was a famous experiment done in 1979, and Professor Ellen Langford gathered a group of men in their 70s and 80s, and they put them in a home that was equipped to look like it was from 1959. So all the decor, all the news on the TV, Ed Sullivan was playing, Perry Como was coming through the speakers, right? But not only that, they were encouraged to talk as if it was 1959, talk as if they were in their 50s and 60s. And after a week, they noticed a remarkable thing happening. Not only did they start walking taller with more energy and more confidence, but medically their tests started showing changes. Their blood pressure improved, their hearing improved, their vision improved, and their balance and their coordination improved. The fear of falling is all about what's happening in your mind. Yes, you want to make sure everything is stable in your environment, in your body, you're structurally sound. That's 2/3 of the game right there. But it's really the fear of the fear that can push you over the edge and limit your mobility. So thinking and acting as if you are 20 years younger really does make a physical difference. So I'm going to take you in a few moments through a very brief guided meditation. Hypnosis is nothing but daydreaming. It is a focused inner awareness where the world drifts away and we can be aware of things that we're thinking about and just exploring internally. We do it every single day, 6 or 7 times a day. Every time we gaze out the window daydreaming, every time we get so wrapped up in a book that we don't notice time passing, or we get so wrapped up in a Netflix movie, right? Like watching Outlander and thinking, wow, that Jamie's really cute. And everything else fades away. We are actually in a state of hypnosis. So know that you can use this natural state to get nice and balanced inside so that the fear of falling reduces dramatically and your ability to lead a happy, healthy, successful life increases dramatically. But first, before I walk you through that visualization, I want to walk you through a really simple exercise that can help keep your nervous system calm and balanced. So again, the fear of falling reduces. When we get afraid of something, that focuses in some particular part of our brain and our nervous system. I don't know whether it's for you in your right hemisphere or your left hemisphere, but it always focuses in one particular place. But there are things we can do to open up both the hemispheres of our brain to give those particular spots the opportunity to disperse so that you can relax. One of them is called bilateral stimulation. And I thought you actually were kind of doing this a little bit earlier, but you were doing it for balance. If you take your hands and cross your chest, and we call this butterfly kisses, and just pat, this is actually doing something very important. It is increasing the blood flow to both the hemispheres of your brain, so that if you had something sparking in one particular area, this dissipates it. It lowers your brainwave activity. It allows your nervous system to relax. It allows your body to relax. And it gives you access to parts of our brain that we don't have access to when we're stressed out. So do this several times a day. If you're sitting down, you can tap both knees if that's easier. Teach this to your grandchildren, butterfly kisses, right? Very simple way of staying nice and relaxed. You can go into the next slide, but yeah. So there was research conducted by the British Medical Journal in 2010. Again, they followed 500 Australians in their 70s and 80s for a period of 1 year. And they found out that those people who decided to take steps to stay calm, confident, and in control, doing the Tai Chi, doing the regular breathing, doing the butterfly kisses, at the end of the year were less likely to fall, even if they were physically more likely than their counterparts. So what's happening in our mind, again, is equally important as to what's happening in the body. Those at a greater risk of falling who had that calm, confident attitude were less likely to fall. So again, hypnosis is endorsed by the American Medical Association as a valued integrative modality. It's endorsed by the National Institutes of Health and by the Mayo Clinic. This is not anything that's out there anymore. We understand now this is just using the mind to do what the mind does naturally anyway, to give you control over your life and over your body. So what I'd like to do is just give you a little taste of what this can look like and feel like for you. So again, this is just a guided journey. So if you would like to experience a little guided journey that can help you alleviate your fear of falling, is that okay with you? Okay, wonderful. So what I'd like you to do is just, if you're comfortable, you're welcome to close your eyes. You can keep them open if you want, but it's easier to relax sometimes if you just allow your eyes to gently close. And feel the seat beneath you, holding you securely with a little music as we drift away. That's lovely. Feel the air against your skin, just becoming aware of your surroundings. And just allow every breath to take you a little bit deeper into relaxation. That's right. And as I count down from 5 all the way down to 1, you can allow the parts of your mind and your body just to let go into a nice, relaxing state of rest and comfort. As 5, just allowing your facial muscles to soften and relax. Imagining your lower jaw just dropping a bit. Allowing your forehead to smooth and relax. 4, relaxing the shoulders, the neck. Imagining you've just had the most wonderful neck and shoulder massage. 3, just allowing yourself to drift deeper and deeper down into this comfortable space of yours. 2, just allowing a sense of relaxation to flow through your body from the top of your head all the way down to the tips of your toes. And 1, all the way down into relaxation. Just feeling good about enjoying this time to rest and release. Noticing how good it feels to know there's no place to go, nothing to do, but just be you in this moment, right now. Now, it is true that recently a part of you may have been feeling a little bit hesitant and maybe not so confident about walking around. And there have been probably a number of moments when you felt that way. For now, just allow one particular moment, one particular memory to come to mind. Just remember a recent time when you felt hesitant or a little unsteady about walking. And as you remember that time, just allow yourself to see what you saw, hear what you heard, feel what you felt. Just remembering for just a moment that anxious or unsteady feeling inside. And when you've done that, you can do something quite different. You can imagine floating right up out of your body, right up out of that memory, floating up on the gentle currents of air, a distance away from that moment, almost like a hawk or an eagle hovering above, watching something from afar, way down there. Seeing that slightly younger you, almost as a tiny dot down below you. And those worries, those doubts, those hesitations about walking are also way down there too. From this distance up here, you can watch that entire memory with calm detachment. Just beginning to feel calmer, quieter inside. And watching from a distance like this, you can begin to take stock of things in your life. You can almost say, okay, that's how I was feeling then. And how do I want to feel now and in the future? How much more confidently and calmly do I want to be able to walk around in the months and years ahead? And then you can just release that old memory. Just allow it to fade away, just like closing the chapter of a book and opening a brand new one. One that is filled with possibilities, filled with excitement. You can remember, can you not, what life was like 30 years ago. The year was 1994. Steel Magnolias and Field of Dreams was playing at the movie theaters. Sean Connery was People Magazine's Sexiest Man of the Year. Nintendo had just released the Game Boy and the internet barely existed. Allow yourself to go there now, in that simpler time of life. Seeing that time through your own eyes, hearing through your own ears, imagining what it was like to feel that calm, confident, and in control. You may begin to move with more energy, more life. You may begin to feel a sense of stability and strength, self-confidence and self-reliance growing deep inside of you. You can imagine caring for yourself more and more independently, socializing more and more actively, exercising more confidently. And these changes aren't just psychological. You may also be very surprised to see the differences in your medical tests, your coordination, your blood pressure, even your eyesight and your hearing improving. Because how independent, how capable, and how confident you are as you age is infinitely affected by how positive your expectations are. So it's time now to begin to remind the deeper parts of you how it feels when you confidently trust yourself to move steadily, securely on your feet, to feel balanced and strong, flexible and healthy. And I'd like you to find yourself in your mind's eye, looking at a calendar where the pages are flipping backwards, month by month, season by season, back further and further, years flying by, until you find yourself drawn to a particular time, maybe 20, maybe 30 years ago, when you felt more capable, steady, confident walking around. Maybe a specific memory will come to mind, or you can just create one here and now of you going for a walk somewhere 20 or 30 years ago. Maybe by yourself, maybe with family or friends. Just allow yourself to remember a time when you were walking confidently. Going on that walk 20 or 30 years ago, taking in the sights, just strolling along. A walk that you can remember now more and more vividly. Arms swinging freely at your sides. Hearing the sound of your feet making contact with the ground. Wearing the clothes you were wearing 20 or 30 years ago. Really enjoying this walk. Really feeling your body move with confidence. And that body can remember too what it's like to have a deeper core strength. Strong legs, healthy joints, rooted and balanced stability. And you can just allow yourself to relax into that moment. As the calendar begins to flip further and further back, month by month and year by year, all the way back to your childhood. Maybe you were running or dancing. Maybe you were slightly out of breath or exhilarated with a physical activity. Just noticing a time of being really active in your youth. As you remember the reality of this time at a deep psychological level, you can be there now. And you can begin to remember the music of your youth, the news stories of the day, the fashions and the clothes, the friends and conversations, even the achievements. Feeling the energy of your youth returning, actively immersing yourself now all the way into that time in your life. Feeling that health and vigor in every part of you. Eyes younger, ears younger, bones and joints younger, heart and lungs younger. And as you absorb this deep inside, this balance, flexible and resilient, strong and capable, remember at the deepest level of your being, here and now, this positive energy and strength is yours and can begin to intensify within you like a brilliant white gold light, shimmering, radiating through every part of you. It's getting a sense of this profound energy in your body that has always been there from the time you were a child. This isn't what you do. This is who you are. This is your life force. Your confidence and strength as a human being flowing through you every single moment of every single day. And now it's time for you to begin to see yourself in the future. In the days and weeks ahead, walking around as if you were 20 years younger. Steadily, confidently, exercising appropriate care with a calm sense of focus and capability, strength and resilience shining through you. To see yourself in this future right now, relaxed, calm, confident, and in control. This golden white light of confidence growing through each and every part of you. You've got this. And now in a moment, I'm going to count from 1 to 5. And at the count of 5, you can allow your eyes to gently open, feeling strong, feeling stable, feeling confident about who you are and how you move through the world. As 1, just beginning to come up slowly, easily, gently. 2, becoming aware again of your body in the chair, the air around you touching your skin. 3, feeling emotionally balanced and mentally clear. 4, bringing all of these changes with you to positively affect your past, your present, and your future. And whenever you're ready, 5, gently opening your eyes, feeling good. So, did you enjoy that? Good. Wonderful. So practice thinking and feeling younger. And I just want to say, I will not be held responsible if you find yourself starting to date men and women who are 20 and 30 years younger. But I guarantee you'll have a lot of balance for it. Thank you.
That was great. Thank you so much, Sharon. Really appreciate that. All right, I'm going to introduce you to our next two speakers, Sarah and Patricia. They are both coming here from the North Carolina Assistive Technology program. Thank you. Couldn't remember what the P stood for. All right, I'll let you take it over from here.
All right. So my name is Patricia, and I am an occupational therapist. I've been one for 12 years. I'm now working as an assistive technologist for the North Carolina Assistive Technology Program, or NCATP.
And my name is Sarah Gatu, and I am an assistive technologist. Oh. Okay, working out of the Greenville office, so about an hour from here. And we are going to talk about the assistive technology program today, what it is, and show you some of the equipment that we have in our demo centers available, specifically for preventing falls.
Okay, so the North Carolina Assistive Technology Program, or NCATP for short, is a state agency under the Division of Vocational Rehab Services and Department of Health and Human Services. With that being said, the transition of DVR, the name or Division of Vocational Rehab, is going to be changing effective April 23rd to the Division of Employment and Independence for People with Disabilities. So NCATP is funded under the Assistive Technology Act of 1998, as amended in 2004. And we serve all 100 counties in North Carolina. We do have 9 AT demo centers throughout the state, and we will go into a little bit more detail of that soon. We serve individuals of all ages, serve individuals with varying disabilities, family members, caregivers, farmers and their family members, professionals in disability-related fields, OT, PT, SLP, speech language pathologist, employers, employees in private and public settings, and serve anyone with a want or need to know about what assistive technology is.
All right. So have any of you ever heard of assistive technology? Yes, so a couple of hands, that's good. Usually I go places and people just don't know. But it's very easy. So assistive technology device is essentially any device, tool, strategy that allows a person with limited function or limited ability to perform a task independently. So throughout this, we're going to be specifically focused on devices for falls. But we in the program work with all different categories of assistive technology. So hearing, ADLs, computer access, vision, there's many. The biggest thing is that assistive technology can be low tech or mid tech or high tech. So think about the example of a magnifier. So there you might have a small handheld magnifier, no battery, no light. That would be an example of low tech assistive technology, which we refer to as AT also. Then the next step up would be an electronic magnifier. So something that has a display that you can change the contrast, that you can increase or decrease font sizes of whatever it is you're reading. A higher example of high tech would be something like a screen reader or software on your computer so that you can see it a little bit easily. So there is levels to different types of technology out there.
So, what is assistive technology service? It's any service that directly assists an individual with a disability in the selection, acquisition, or use of an assistive technology device. So in our centers, like I said, we have 9 centers in the state of North Carolina. We will have individuals come in, families come in, sometimes even we will have schools come in to learn more about assistive technology, and we can demo different devices for them. So we have a lot of low, mid, and high tech devices throughout our facilities. And here soon, we will actually go through some, like Sarah was saying, to help demonstrate fall prevention, or if you have a fear of falling, some things that you could use to help with that fear and prevention.
Did you have a question, sir? No, okay. So we have 9 centers across the state, like Patricia said. This is just a map to sort of give you a visual of what centers cover what counties. So I am in the purple area. So we cover about 23 to 25 counties out of the Greenville office. Patricia works out of the pink area, and then we will go into a list of our staff. We also have our contact information down here in the corner. This is also on our website. So just to state that.
So here are all our 9 centers. In Raleigh, we have our Raleigh administration. So Tammy Koger is our director. Sharice Parker is our intake coordinator. Kendall Razor is our billing and project coordinator. And Tina Wesley is our purchasing specialist. And then in the Raleigh office, we do have Marissa Conniff. She is a speech language pathologist. Myself, Patricia Aaron, assistive technologist, and Brittany Howley, assistive technologist. And then Silva, we have Mary Kay Doolin, Morganton, Christy Kirk, Charlotte, Celeste Healing, Susie and Tammy. Winston, we have Paul, Greensboro, Samantha, and Sanford is Julie, Greenville, Gloria, and Sarah. And then Wilmington, we have Jay. So, and then in these people, there are assistive technologists and speech language pathologists too. And the speech language pathologists, just so you know, work more on communication and those type of devices within our centers.
All right, so as we mentioned, we have services that we provide. Our fee-based services are things that have to come through a referral. Usually because we work under vocational rehab, a lot of the referrals come through there, but we do get other agencies every now and then. What do we provide? Fee-based assessments, farm assessments. So we're partnered with the National Agribility Program, and they refer us farmers with disabilities who may want to continue working on their farms. So we work with them and provide or recommend assistive technology. We also do trainings and technical assistance. There's just information on how to make a referral to our intake coordinator, Sharice.
So the no cost services that we provide are, if you come to our center, or we can also do this virtually, we can do demonstrations, we can record the demos or do them live online. We do have an accessibility for all event, and that is every Thursday. It's a live Zoom presentations, and they occur every other Thursday. Is that correct? Yeah. And then the other Thursdays, we typically have like a YouTube video from a previous presentation to kind of keep those presentations live. So we do have the short-term device loans, and those typically, if you come to our center and you see something that you are interested in, we can loan out a device to you for 2 weeks, 2 to 4 weeks typically. And typically you would bring it back, and then if it's something you're interested in, you could purchase it on your own. If it's not, you could try something else out. So we also have awareness activities, like something like this. We like to go do presentations to people throughout the state. We'll do online presentations. We have the expo, which is every October, and that's kind of what we have mentioned at the bottom here. And that's an annual event, and we have 30+ vendors there. And lots of times it is a hybrid option similar to this, where you can come live or you can watch it, stream it online. We have an AT reuse program, and typically Brittany Howley out of our Raleigh office typically does that program. And what that entails is we have like long-term loan items or items that have been donated or no longer used in our inventory in our centers. And someone can come in and use that as a long-term loan. And then we also have people will let us know equipment that they have that they're wanting to sell. And then we have a program where we keep that information and then we can give that information to other individuals and they can reach out and buy that equipment from someone else. We have our NC Ramp program, and that was a project funded by Christopher and Dana Reeves Foundation. And then again, we have the expo coming up October 3rd, and that is in Raleigh. And then there's also a flyer about that expo on the table as well.
So I kind of touched briefly on this. Lots of different categories of assistive technology, and we work with all of them. So all of our centers have different devices in all of these categories. So I always strongly recommend anybody to come visit our centers if you're interested in seeing there's something there that may or may not help you.
So assistive technology is determined using individual-centered approach. Okay, so we focus on the individual function, not necessarily a disability, because someone with two people with the same disability could have total different needs. We focus on the environment and use of AT in that environment specifically. We focus on individual skill sets and their goals. So again, two people with the same disability may have, the same skill set, but different goals. So we focus on centered approach. It's not standard for every person, even if the situation is similar, not a one size fits all approach at all. It's not a black and white, it's very gray in a lot of things that we do. Overall goal is to promote independence in individuals of all ages and in all settings. So at home, in school, at work. Okay, so where to start? So now we'll get into more preventing falls. Preventing falls begins with, of course, planning ahead. So what not to do? So of course, it's really important, like we said, that you plan ahead, okay? Ask for help. Don't do something like these two guys. Ask someone to help you. Don't be unsafe. And I think a big thing too is if you question, is this unsafe, it probably is unsafe. So be thinking about that in your, whatever you're doing, think ahead, plan ahead. So instead, try smarter options. Using the different and various assistive technology devices, be low tech, mid tech, high tech. As stated in the previous slide, there is not a one size fits all approach. So one thing that works for one person may not work for you specifically. And it's best to coordinate with your care team on, learning the different devices and maybe what's going to work for you, because your care team is individual and client centered towards your best interest. And now we're going to go into more detail and go over everyday activities and demo some of these assistive technology things that we brought with us today.
So as we're going through these, you may or may not be familiar with some of these things. Some of the lower tech things, you're probably like, yeah, that's probably what we should be using. But I always like to include it in here because just because we know of it doesn't mean we're using it, right? So looking at up here in the corner, this is a long-handled broom and dustpan set. So be beneficial so that you don't have to lean over while you're trying to sweep, right? Higher tech version of that would be something like a Roomba that does all the sweeping around for you. Of course, depending on the situation, that could also be a trip hazard is going around. So again, focusing on one size approach does not fit all. Looking at the long handle things, also things like sponges and loofahs to help you in the shower. I did bring some of those things up here. And you guys are all welcome to come and check any of these devices out, I guess at the end. I was gonna pass them around, but you guys are a pretty large group. So you're welcome to come up and look at some of these items afterwards. This here in the middle, this is a mail chime. So for individuals who live in their homes and have to walk out to go and check the mail. You may not be wanting to walk out unnecessary amount of times, you know, the more you walk out there, the more at risk you are for a fall. So something like a mail chime will alert you when somebody has opened their mailbox and put mail in. So this is a two-set kind of device. And it has a sensor that goes on the inside of the mailbox. And then it has a receiver that's connected inside of the home. And that's what the signal is sent to.
Where do you get those?
So the mail chime, I believe you can find on multiple websites, Assistive Technology Services, Maxi Aids. I can't say that I have found them off the shelf, like in Walmart or anything. I haven't come across them. So that would be online. Looking at things like, again, everyday activities. The Ring doorbell, does anybody have one? Use one? Yeah, do you guys like it? Yeah, so you can place one outside of your door and it'll alert you when somebody is at your door, gives you a visual. And I don't know if all of them can, but I know the one I have at my house, you can actually speak to the person through the camera and have a conversation. So if somebody is at home, sitting on their couch, the doorbell rings, sorry. The doorbell rings and you might not be wanting to rush to go to the house, to the front door. You could let them know through the doorbell, hey, I'm on my way. I'm taking my time. Again, things like fall sensors. I included a picture of the Apple Watch, but there is fall sensor device. Yep, exactly. Yep. So that would kind of be like an alerting system. But there is one built into modern day devices like your smartwatches that you have. This is a picture of the Apple Watch, but we also have it on our Android devices also now as well. They sell special cameras that have fall detection on them. This is just a picture of a regular camera that works with your Wi-Fi internet.
I have a few things over there I want to show you, but something as simple as putting down these gripper stickers can help prevent slips in the bathroom. Because most falls occur in the bathroom, okay? Grab bars. We have actually a suction cup grab bar over there. Those aren't highly recommended, but it is an option. It's something if you're interested, I will talk to your care team about that. Long handled sponges, okay, or long handled loofah, like in this. I think it's important to know the difference in a grab bar and a towel bar. Towel bars typically are not made for you to put your weight through, okay? A lot of, I'll ask a lot of people, well, do you have a grab bar? And they mention a towel bar, but that's not something I would ever recommend for you to use as a grab bar. Using a safe bench or seat in the shower is a great option. If you fatigue in the shower, if you have low endurance, if you have generalized weakness, weak lower extremities, it's a good option, built in, or the removable option too. So, I mean, for example, here is a long handled sponge. These you can get at Walmart, or like the loofah in that picture. This is the suction cup grab bar. Like I said, I would talk to your care team to see if that's something they would recommend, because there's some people I would recommend this for and some people I would not. Also in the bathroom, using a bedside commode over your toilet, it can elevate your toilet. It can give you something to reach back for. It could also be used in your bedroom if you couldn't make it to your bathroom for any reason. So the next thing we're going to talk about is medication management. So does anyone know why medication management would be a reason we would include this on fall prevention? Right, because you want to make sure that you're taking your medication and you're actually taking it on time, okay? So there are a few different options for managing your meds and making sure you're taking them on time. The first one is the apps, okay? So on your phone, on an iPad. I specifically brought an iPad. And we have medication management apps, okay? There's a bunch of different ones out there. But what you can do is you can put them on here, and I just put, kind of just made up my own little thing. Seizure med, blood pressure med, I need to take it at 8 a.m. and I need to take it at 8 p.m. And then you can take it 2 times a day, 3 times a day, whatever you need, you can add and make it personalized for you on all of these different applications. Okay, this one, you can actually say you've taken it and it will realize that you've taken it, you know how many times you've taken it. And then there's also one called Every Dose, and it just, again, goes through, and these are all free. Okay, and they don't even need Wi-Fi. I'm not connected to Wi-Fi on here. So there's also this little guy. He's not working for me today, but I think he needs to be plugged in. But this is called a dose health device. And it will actually, you can time it and it will actually spin, and you can actually pour your pills out into your hand. If you do not pour them out within a certain amount of time, it will consistently remind you. I think 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 20 minutes. Of course, your old calendar, simple way of remembering is another way. And then your large, it doesn't have to be large, but your pill box. Okay, these are more of your low tech ways of remembering to take your medication. Okay. This thing, we'll get into that. This is more of a mobility device.
All right, so we're thinking about vision. Obviously, if you're having some problems with your vision, it might impair where you're stepping. You might have difficulty seeing with where you're stepping. So, you know, having things again like the tape to identify where the steps are. This in the middle is actually flagging tape, which Patricia has. So you may wonder, what is this for? Does anybody have an idea of maybe how that would be useful? No? Okay, so that would be a low-tech option. Think about it for like in your yard. If you need a flag where there's a spot where it might be deep, where it might be uneven. I know a lot of people who are out in their gardens use them. So again, things that could cause falls. If you can identify where those areas are, before you can get to fixing them, you might need to flag them so you know where you're stepping. Obviously having, like the bottom picture depicts, good lighting. Those are just motion activated lights, but the idea is just having good lighting, not a lot of things around that you can trip or fall from. When looking at stair safety, unfortunately, actually, none of these things we have available in our centers. Somebody may have this easy step assist, but I don't have it. So this would be like a stair lift to help you get up and down. Having things like handrails up here in the top right corner, that is called the easy step assist. So it kind of goes, I believe it's like goes on a rail and you kind of walk up and down with it. Like I said, I don't have that in my center, but if anybody's interested, another center in our state might have it. Having things like handrails and again, the visuals for the tape.
Okay, so more on mobility. So these in the picture are just examples, and they're not necessarily appropriate for everyone. So I want you to keep that in mind. Again, care team is your best approach when you're trying to figure out what's going to work for you. This first thing, and we have one here, is a couch cane. So it can go under your couch and it can be of assistance when you go to stand. Okay, when you go to sit. So again, not for everyone, but it's an option. There's also something like a bed cane, and it can also be used similar to the couch cane. Here's the seat assist. So this is the uplift seat assist. So you can put this in a chair, and if you have a difficult time getting out of the chair, there's actually one I think that's automatic, and it's almost like a lift chair, if anyone's ever used or heard of a lift chair, but it can actually help you sit up and more into a standing position. And then when you're carrying items, if you use a walker or a rollator, it's important not to carry anything in your hand as you're walking. You want to be committed to that walker. And this is just an example. You don't want to overload the rollator with a bunch of things, but you could carry light objects. Or kind of transport them on the chair. It's okay to transport lighter things, a few things, but don't overload it to where something's going to fall and then cause you to trip. So a couple of disclaimers: assistive technology is not limited to the devices shown in these slides or what we have here. They're only used to represent some of the devices that we can offer individuals. Okay. Our staff do not represent any specific vendor or product. We encourage you to work with your care team to establish what is best for you. Every case is very individualized. If you want to learn more about different devices or know someone that could benefit from assistive technology, please reach out to your local center today. And we're going to give you more information on that in the next slides. And here is our website. Okay.
As far as hearing, it just depends on the client. Probably the most popular thing that we have that I didn't bring today is a pocket talker or a pocket talker, a personal amplifier.
A pocket talker.
Pocket talker. So it's a small portable amplifier that you can wear anywhere. You can wear around your neck, and it comes with,
Yes.
yes, and you, okay, so you could use one of those. It would just depend on what exactly you were needing it for. Like, are you trying to hear in like during a session? Like, we would really have to know, like, I guess, what is your goal with to be able to hear better? Because you said you already use hearing aids, correctly? Yeah. I would say that's one of those where you might have to call us and we might have to get more information before we can recommend anything specifically.
And then here is our contact information. So we have Sarah, and like we said, she's in the Greenville office, and then myself, Patricia, I am in the Raleigh office. So feel free to take that down, go to our website if you know someone who could be of use. If you feel like you could use assistive technology, we can always talk to you and get you in our center. Or we even come out to the community too. We will come to your house too if we have to, or do it virtually even.
Yes.
I want to thank you all for coming today. I know probably this lovely lady right here, Christina, give her a big hand. She's the one that works on our